It's April 1st, 2015. And I was just talking about some of the forms of torture that the United States, well, how they were trying to justify constantly and repeatedly torturing me. And they used a lot of that as ways to shut me up, also as like security to use against me, because they wanted to make it look like I was a liar. So they wanted to have part of this mind control stuff that they were doing is, yeah, someone could say that that was government program, secretive government program work, and it was, even though it's completely illegal and against anyone's normal rights, violates any kind of concept of consent, and it's torture against kids. And basically, they put me into what amounted to nothing more than a slave system, and which is what the United States is doing with cloning humans, and they have no problem with that either. And now we'll talk about that. But the motive, the reason they were doing this mind control stuff, their entire motive was greed. It was all anti-competition. It was, their entire motive was anti-enterprise. They didn't want me to start up my own business, didn't want me to be successful. They wanted to keep getting rich off of me. They wanted to force me into slavery so that they could steal the work product that I created and then call me crazy, have me raped multiple times, and then bring out situations under mind control circumstances that made it look like I was consenting to sex when I was being raped, have me come up with a report at some time, you know, have me go out there and make a report, as they also wanted me to do at times. And then with some kind of videotape or other discrepancy to use against me, they wanted to probably defame me in internal channels to suggest that I was just lying. I was making that stuff up. They also used things like, and that was to discredit me. So purposes of discrediting the person that they were stealing from on a huge scale. So basically, you get like a nuclear, highly desired nuclear scientist that the United States wants to use for developing nukes for them. Well, why would the United States hold someone like that hostage and force them to work for them? Well, because for one thing, the United States is going to extract any kind of work product and skills out of that person without paying them, or without paying them what they should be paid, and without their consent, because if they're not consenting to work along with the U.S., they'll just do it anyway. They'll force someone to work for them, and then the U.S. gains a lot out of it. The United States gains nukes, which could be which are not only money makers when you're dealing with weaponry trades and dealing and that kind of thing, because even if you never explode anything, just the fact that you are making something, or that you have something that other people might want because it's a really good quote-unquote product that could annihilate, you know, all of civilization or whatever. Well, if you have someone creating that for you, that is worth a lot of money. And so, you know, they can take a nuclear scientist, force him into a hostage situation for money reasons, as well as promoting their military arsenal. Another example would be even a computer scientist. You could take a computer scientist that is highly gifted, maybe a hacker or just a computer scientist of some kind, and the United States government decides that if they develop a system for an intelligence agency, that the United States can profit off of that and also get into everybody's mail and private information, all of their web searches, and can station people at multiple different computer stations to observe the activities of any individuals that the United States government wants to spy on. Well, if the computer scientist or hacker or whatever developer doesn't want to go along with the United States, or is somewhat reluctant, the United States can either try to make the offer sound more appealing and really appeal to their sense of ego by saying, you just the whole thing. They're not going to come out and say you're really special and you can save the world and we can't do this without you. I mean, they don't really come out with it like that, but make you feel like you really are important. Maybe bring a woman along if you're a man, or a man along, other kinds of incentives and rewards for your being so quote unquote special. And so they can appeal that way to try to get someone to work for them. And if they are still resistant and don't want to deal with that, then the United States government can basically hold someone hostage, get some kind of a security against them, some type of blackmail, and force them to work for the United States. Maybe give them a little money so it doesn't look too suspicious, like they are still profiting from their own business, and it couldn't be a hostage situation. But the United States has many creative ways of forcing people to work for them and putting them into slavery that you wouldn't really expect. So I think that there are plenty of people. The United States finds a lot of people that are just willing to work for the money. They don't care what it's being used for. So I think they have, more often than not, they don't have people turning them down. And when the United States does have people turning them down, they don't like it. I am living proof of that. So anyway, the United States, with me, they decided that I wrote good songs, and they were making a ton of money off of them. They couldn't have me out there promoting my own songs as, an 11-year-old. That wasn't really going to be appealing. That's kind of how it started, is that they wouldn't allow me to sing and perform my own songs because I was so young and it wasn't marketable to an older audience, teens and stuff. Teenagers and the 20-something group that's buying a lot of CDs, and people who are even older, they're not really interested in watching some 10-year-old girl dancing around on the stage. That's just not something that, or someone that's even younger. So they were parting my songs out to other performers who were adults. And then once they were starting to make so much money off of it, even when I was older, and even though I had a good voice of my own, and I could have performed my own songs, they decided, no, we've already been stealing from her for such a long time. We're not going to now unleash her and have her prove that she is who she says she is, that she can sing, and that she is writing all of these songs. She wrote all these past songs that we stole from her and sent out to other people to perform. So they basically just wanted to keep me under wraps and have no one discover that I was actually not only a songwriter, I was a talented singer myself, and I could have produced all of my own songs. And if I had had any of the money that had been stolen from me, I could have developed my own business on it as well. So I was being held hostage for a very long time because they kept wanting me to crank out songs that other people could use, and they were giving my songs out to a lot of different people, and it's been slavery. And there's no other way to describe it than to say it's slavery, and that those who've been supporting it and everything, they sometimes try to make it sound like, oh, you're doing a great thing out there for the world. Well, they're not. They're participating in the United States government slave system.